Hello, everyone. So today we are going to be reacting and commenting to this current thing that's going on, where apparently regards. Right? I don't know if I can say that word on any Twitch, so I'm just gonna dance around it for a moment. Decide to mock anonymity for VTubers, which, if that is not the most head up ass position you could take in the VTubing community, I have no earthly idea what is, right? Because you would imagine that there have been certain instances, I will bring up one that we will react to, where it should be pretty obvious that, you know, anonymity in the VTubing sphere is pretty fucking important, right? So let's begin. We're gonna look at what Rev has to say about this. So before we go to Rev, let's look at what this says. So this is from Rex Balls, the profile name, and then that's probably a question. The new psyop is get VTubers to make fun of anonymity and show their faces, it seems. Yeah, I don't like when VTubers do this for a number of reasons, but, you know, there has always been this push to make anonymity, you know, the bad guy. Hey, don't use a VPN. VPNs are bad. Hey, you need to show your ID to get into X, Y, or Z place. Hey, don't pay attention. You know, all this stuff, right? And it's largely because, again, there's a certain group of people who believe that privacy is not really a thing. The private is actually a public concern, right? And it's a very leftist idea. But, you know, there's other groups that take ideas from the left and then pretend like it's, you know, not a leftist idea, but I digress. So let's continue.
All right, so for anyone familiar with the VTubing scene, I think you understand that anonymity is a very important thing. In fact, I think that's one of the key reasons why a lot of people became VTubers in the first place. They want...
Yes, it is. And it is very disingenuous for people to pretend like anonymity is not actually one of the reasons a lot of people actually started being a VTuber, right? I mean, it's one of the reasons I decided to be a PNG tuber, right? I actually like privacy. A lot of us actually like the ability to be private, right? No one is the world's to fucking examine and explore. It's not that fucking hard. And if you need the world to know exactly who you are when you're playing a character, you might want to examine why that is.
To protect themselves and their identity while being able to stream. They don't have to show their face. And there's something superior about being a VTuber. You don't got to worry about your appearance. You don't got to put on a pound of makeup to appease anyone.
And you can play a character. That's the whole point of being a VTuber, right? Is you get to play a character. You can exaggerate certain parts of yourself if you want to, or you could, you know, you just be someone totally different. That's the whole fucking point about being a VTuber, is it not? So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, no, the whole, anyone who says that anonymity is isn't important is either a straight up retard, or I guess I'm dancing around the topic with the other euphemism isn't exactly the anyway. So anyway, there's either a retard or a bad actor. Hello, Crimson Rain. Oh, okay. I didn't know I had those functions on Pro Chat.
You don't got to be doing anything. You can just pull up. That's why it makes certain individuals of a certain style of content very upset. They see the Bob VTubers because they have to put on a show and sell their holes and do things like that.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about like Fansly and Chatterbait. Not that, you know, Fansly and Chatterbait, you know, doesn't also have VTubers on it, which is sad, but, you know, that's also been a discourse recently. Hello, PJ. Let's see. Value in privacy appears to be a right-wing concept to an extent. There are some people on the, and I use air quotations here, to be fair, right, who believe that you should give up your privacy as well. But it's almost always on specifically your technology, right? It's like, oh yeah, instead of like, maybe we should get rid of the whole idea of burner phones. Okay, what about people who actually have real reasons to be concerned about their safety? right? Or the idea of, like, again, the whole idea of digital ID is both the left and the right have been conspiring to do that too. It's like, yes, digital ID. Let's give the government, our IDs when we go online. Not like we don't have a large contingent of the country, or at least in some of our countries, saying that they would be fine with, the right wing being, killed. Let's be perfectly honest, right? There's a large contingent of the left that actually kind of seems to glee when people on the right get hurt or killed. And we saw what happened with the January 6th people. And let's just say if Kamala Harris had gotten in charge, they would have probably gone after a lot more people, a lot more harshly, because they already got away with violating jurisprudential processes under the Biden administration. Not that any particular president respects jurisprudential, processes, but I digress, right? It was definitely categorically worse for the right under, Biden than it was, under, Anyway, we'll continue, right? That can of worms later, right? Also, the concept of private ownership censored capitalism. Yes, that is definitely more of a right-wing individualist concept, right? Because, like, you can't exactly collectively own anything, right? That the whole concept of collective ownership makes no sense, because the whole point of ownership is to decide who gets the final say in disputes regarding scarce resources. Like, that's the whole point. Collective ownership actually muddies the water, because it actually ambiguates who it is that actually has the final say. But let's continue, because this topic actually, especially in VTubing, I find really annoying, and I could bring up more. But at the end of this, I'm going to bring up one example, and I'm going to put it in the episode, where it should be pretty obvious to anyone who saw it. Maybe anonymity is actually a good idea. And I don't want any of these ladies to learn this the hard way, but sometimes some people are so retarded they kind of have to learn the thing the hard way. I don't want that to happen. I want people to have common sense. But, stupid games, stupid prizes, FAFO, right?
And they get one shot. They get one tapped by VTubers. Now, we have a very interesting situation where now VTubers seem to be discrediting the importance of anonymity, which makes no sense.
Because they have the safe opinions, and they believe that protects them.
And this goes towards a greater trend. There's been a lot of discussion on Twitter about VTuber culture, especially with Western VTubers, and how values that once were very important don't seem to matter at all. And
yeah, I will say that, like, it is so funny that when I was growing up in the 90s, right? And in the 2000s, right? When I was a wee lad, right? Everyone would say, don't tell anyone about where you live. Don't tell anyone about your name. Don't tell anyone your private information, right? Because the internet is filled with dangerous people. And this is still true, right? There are dangerous people still on the internet, right? There are people who want to get your information to do terrible things to you, even if that's just to steal your identity, which is still really fucking bad, by the way. The same people who say that are now the same people, back when I was growing up, are the same people being like, oh, don't worry about that, right? Oh, share everything you want online. It's like, no, actually, I think this is actually a large part of the problem, is people oversharing. And not really having a sense of boundaries anymore, right? It seems to be rather this idea of, like, just share everything all at once at all times seems to be a thing eroding boundaries between, like, where they should be. But I digress, right? Not to mention, again, it's a bit of a safety concern, especially if you have uncouth opinions, right?
This clip has been shared by...
Oh, not uncouth, but not uncouth. Unsanctioned. There we go.
Many different people. This is one of the examples where there is a podcast here of VTubers talking about anonymity and making fun of it and acting like it's not important to have. Here is the clip. It's only about 25 seconds, but we'll listen together because this is pretty odd.
Imagine being able to go on the internet and just be anonymous. I'm like,
Yeah.
I could never
Cannot
experience
fathom
that.
what that's like.
I could never fathom what that's like because I've never done that.
Imagine being Pool Guy 57. Sorry if
I
you're
can't.
listening, but nobody cares about Pool Guy 57.
Oh no,
You know,
Pool Guy
like,
57's gonna come in and he's gonna be like, oh man.
I hope somebody in the YouTube comments is named Pool Guy 57.
If
never-
there's a
I've
Pool
never
Guy
been like that.
57 comment, I'll pin it down below. But
Dude.
Okay, so then why is doxing bad? What's okay? I mean, if anonymity is not actually all that important, then doxing isn't bad, because the whole point of doxing is you put someone's private, identity out there in a way that's publicly searchable, right? But if we know what your real name is, and we know where you live, and we know like these details about you that you share yourself, right? You're functionally doxing yourself, right? You're letting your real identity out there. But so then I'm curious as to what their opinion on doxing is, because it almost sounds like they don't really have any ability to have a bad opinion about doxing, because on what ground would they stand to say? And I just realized I'm covering up Rev, but on what ground could they say that doxing is bad actually, right? The whole point about doxing being bad is that we have, the authority to decide to be anonymous online, and that if you're going to take the anonymity away from us, you're not doing that for any kind of like benevolent reason. You are doing that to cause some kind of harm. That's the whole point of doxing, right? So yeah, Miss Buff Pup and the Rabbit VTuber who I've never fucking seen before, because effectively Pool Guy 57 to be perfectly honest. Give me a good reason why doxing is bad if anonymity is actually not important, because the whole point, again, the whole way that doxing works is you rob someone of their anonymity. And that would imply that, again, so it just seems like we're listening. This is just a retarded take. It's not that. It's really that simple. PJ says, I use a different name and an anime profile pic on X. I should probably do the same on YouTube, since I'm literally doxing myself right now, but I'm not relevant enough yet. Lol. I mean, I'm not exactly all that relevant either, and I've still never used my name on any of these platforms. Let's see. People did this to Nachi Miku of Vtards, and suddenly doxing becomes okay when it's someone who's unpopular. Hello, Kionala, right? I mean, you're not wrong, PJ. It is kind of disgusting. Again, the whole, it's good when it happens to you, but it's bad when it happens to me. But when it's bad when it happens to me, it's good when it happens to you position, which a lot of these people take. But yeah, no, there's one example that immediately popped to mind, and we'll go through that and we'll examine it to see how dumb this fucking position is. Because it is remarkably dumb.
Now, a lot of people were mad at this, and I think it's fair.
Yeah, they should be mad about it. We've had governments all across the globe try to attack the ability to use things like, again, VPNs, try to attack the ability to use the internet anonymously through things like digital ID, chains. All these kinds of attacks on anonymity, and let's be fair, they are not good-hearted attacks. These attacks are very nefarious. They are motivated by malevolent intent, and they leverage your benevolence through propaganda, right? Oh yeah, remove your anonymity, right? Give these people all your information so that they can protect the children. By the way, these are the same people that refuse to do anything against the Epstein clients. So absolutely fuck off. And anyone who's cooperating with these people knows this. They know this. They know that these people refuse to go after these people. Again, the actual known diddlers. And they're using children in order to actually, by the way, negligent parents. They're defending negligent parents, right? How exactly did little Timmy actually arrive on the hub, let's say, right? He shouldn't be on the hub. How the fuck did he get there? Oh, by the way, his parents weren't fucking paying attention to him. I'm sick and tired of all of our societies having to fucking accommodate the bottom 2% of oh my god. Sorry, I get a little heated about this because, again, the anonymity thing is actually really important, right? Could you fucking imagine how much damage the far left would do if they could get a handle on all the identities of the far right accounts, right? Or not even the far right, even the moderate right and the centrist accounts, even the moderate left accounts, right? Look at how they harangue and harass Shu. Now, granted, they know who Shu is, right? But again, sorry, I a little annoyed. Kianalo says, I've used this name for years. This is YouTube as my oldest use of this name, but it's separate from my real life. Exactly, right? There's a barrier here, right?
You don't really care about anonymity. Why would VTubers not understand anonymity? Like, no, sorry, pool guy, or whatever the handle was. You are allowed to protect your anonymity. I don't know why you'd want to lose that as a VTuber. And the quotes are really...
Well, considering I talk about people who sometimes shoot people who criticize them, I think I'm going to keep my anonymity.
lining up on this one, right? Saying, do not post your information on the internet. Do not post your face on the internet. There are people who will try to harm you over the internet or over internet arguments or because they're just psychotic. We used to teach this in schools. Practice OPSEC.
He is absolutely right. Again, when I was growing up, right, when I was a wee lad, this was something every fucking adult would tell you, right? Your grandparents would tell you this. Your fucking parents would tell you this, right? Your older siblings would tell you this. And then all of a sudden, there was a switch that flipped in society. And it was like, everyone was all like, oh yeah, we're going to share everything that we've ever done. All the people who knew at the beginning that, like, you don't share your personal details and your personal life online for OPSEC reasons, suddenly didn't understand OPSEC. And in fact, it was weird of you to care about your anonymity. In fact, I fucking hate Facebook for this reason, right? Because then, like, your family will be like, ooh, hold on. Hold on, mijo, I want to take this picture. And then take a picture and then upload your picture online when it's like, I'm very clear, I don't want anything of my face online for any way, shape, or form reason, right? Whatever happened to just keeping the damn photos of yourself? Oh my god. Sorry. I can't stand this. But, right, just like I personally want to value my privacy, right? I want to move away from anything of my personal life online as possible, and like everyone on Earth who originally tells you, early back in the olden days, right, that they don't do this are the ones doing it, and I was like, I can't stand this, this fucking inversion of morals, right? Don't keep your private life private, make it public for all to see. Absolutely fucking not. PJ says, when the internet first became popular, literally everyone was warning us not to overshare online and that the internet doesn't forget. Yep. Kionalo says, even though he never was on the net, they said keep it to your privacy to yourself. Exactly. This was back in the 90s. Let's see. Facebook is good for selling stuff in your town. I mean, that's true, but I don't use Facebook either. Again, I don't like my face being online, so it's like... Oh my god. I've refused taking photos with my family before because of this whole thing. But yeah, so long story short, I guess, right? Let's get back to this thing.
Chibi says, if you have the gift of being anonymous as a VTuber, do not ever reveal your true face. What it leads to is the following: doxing, stalking, harassment, putting your family in danger, putting your career in danger. If you think what I said is impossible, you are naive.
Yeah, and this is another thing that pops up to mind, right? It's like, again, you can potentially put people around you in danger because of this, because it's not like a person who is, willing to dox you or willing to, stalk your accounts to find out information about you isn't willing to stalk you in real life, right? And it's like, this is just... Okay. Sorry, this is just fucking ridiculous.
Banana Juju says, I cannot fathom how deranged these biches are.
Juju speaks from experience, too. First of all, she comes from, again, an older generation that was initially skeptical of the internet, right? Rightfully so. But she also is a South African, from what I remember, right? Want to guess what's going on in South Africa right now? Not good times, right? There might be a reason why someone who lived in South Africa for most of their life might have concerns about, again, privacy. Let's see, who's already there? You might as well make it work for you, right? Hello, Kura. Never fear, Kura is here. Well, look, glad to have you back, Kura. I'm getting a little bit more heated than I expected about this whole VTuber saying anonymity is stupid detail, right? I cannot fucking imagine. But then again, like, I'm currently trying to work on a song that is, again, making fun of Islam, the religion of a piece of you over here, a piece of you there, a piece of you everywhere, right? It's not like I haven't criticized Islam before, and like, again, the explosive religion that again it causes peace through terror kind of deal, right? Not a big fan of the idea that, like, again, I wouldn't exactly have my anonymity because I got more than just myself to think about, right? And again, with like me criticizing the left, well, we saw that like these two particular positions have a bit of an issue with people with the name Charlie, right? Hebdo got assassinated, and then you got fucking Kirk got assassinated. It's like, oh yeah, these are two different like crypto. Like, one's a real religion, the other one's a crypto religion. Like, oh yeah, they don't really mind like killing their enemies, like killing the people that criticize them. Interesting, right? So it's like, yeah, maybe I do actually care about my anonymity, right? Because I'd like to be able to talk shit about these people, especially when it's absolutely deserved, right? But let's see. PJ says people who are willing to stalk you and also willing to harm your family. Yeah. Let's see. Kevin Eric Snell, the High Trust Internet Society of the 90s and very early 2000s is long. I don't know what you're talking about, like High Trust 90s, right? Back when I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, there was no such fucking thing as High Trust at that time. Everyone was telling you, it's like, you do not tell people your secret, you do not tell people your personal identifying information online at the time. Granted, it may have also just been, there may have been certain corners of the internet that were like that, right? But it actually seems like there's a naive degree of trust nowadays in the internet culture than compared back in the 90s, right? Let's see. Ken says, this wouldn't be too hard for me to deal with. I had a coworker who framed me and a handful of other lady coworkers for a bomb at the Pentagon threat. That's fucking wild. Simply because I didn't want anything to do with him. That's fucking insane, right? I hope legal charges were pressed against them. Hello, Edo Sen. Let's see. It was Middle Eastern, by the way. Okay, fair enough. Kuro says, oh, then the dude's opinion is immediately disregarded and should have be viewed as insane ramblings from sub-room temperature IQ persons. Yeah. Oh, it's not just him. There's a couple other ones on here. Buff Pup is on here as well, which is kind of annoying because I actually have one of Buff Pup's figurines right above me right now on my desk.
Another one saying this is the most regarded, disgusting stuff ever. And, well, it's made by people I'd expect this stuff to come from. Another one saying, I'm all for doing what you want as a VTuber, but I find it weird that people are pushing more and more for VTuber anonymity to be seen as a bad thing. The medium was built on escapism and fantasy.
Okay, so like that's a good genre critique of this idea, right? Is that like we're not really coming to a VTuber for the person. We're going to the VTuber because, like, again, they're playing a character and we find the character fascinating, right? See, I genuinely do not care what, like, Saba or Gura's face, like, real life face is. I don't care what her name is, right? I'm here for Gura, for Saba, for Senzawa, right? The character, right? The character reincarnates, yeah, fair enough, right? And we are following a specific, real, identifiable person that's playing these characters, right? So it's, like, close to, like, following an actor, I guess. But, like, again, my attachment is not to the person behind the thing. My attachment is to the character they're playing. And it turns out that VTubers live in this liminal space between fiction and reality, right? Yeah, sure, they're a real person, but they're also inhabiting a fictional space. And the character they play is not identical to the person that they are in real life, right? So it's in this boundary between the real and the fantastic. And that's one of the reasons people find VTubers and professional wrestling, by the way. We call this kayfabe. There's an actual term for this in like this kind of narrative structure. But there's a reason why people find kayfabe fascinating, and it's this paradoxical placement in like the chain of being. But yeah, so it's like I don't want to be pulled back to the like granted you're going to me for a different reason than you would be going to Buff Pup or like Senzawa, right? I'm not exactly providing the exact same things they are, right? But yeah, it's just it boggles the mind.
Which is a very fair thing. If you want to post your face and do those things, that's completely fine. That's within your right. I'm not some 100% gung-ho person who's like, you cannot ever show your real life self. That's an idol culture thing. It's much more Japan focused. You have to be real with the English side of things. That's not going to all translate over. But I think it's something that should be understood and valued. and you should make an informed choice about sharing private information.
Yeah, you should know the consequences of sharing private information, and there are consequences. It's not a free lunch, right? There are real consequences to sharing private information online. But also, yeah, again, if you want to do that, that's fine. But don't fucking denigrate other people that you don't know the situation of, right? Again, I'm trying to figure out a song. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to write a song that like would actually be good. That is like very critical of Islam, right? And I don't exactly want the I don't want the you know, sort of the disreputable from that particular group to, you know, be coming gung ho after me, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I've read the Quran and the Hadith. I know what y'all do to poets, right? I know what happened to the poet who criticized Muhammad. You know, his follower stabbed him, you know, killed him on the spot, and then, you know, felt bad about it. Later confessed it to Muhammad, and then it's like Muhammad's like, oh yeah, no, you did the right thing, right? Yeah, no, I'm very well aware of what this religion teaches, which is why it's like I've criticized it and leftism, right? And I'm also going to criticize other groups that teach ridiculously stupid things, right? Or ridiculously evil things, because there's more than just those two is the problem, right? I've also criticized dispensationalism. I've also criticized, you know, certain messianic Chabadnik, you know, ideologies. I've criticized all kinds of things here, right? And some of them do get violent. So it's like, okay, yeah, I like my anonymity for a reason, right? First of all, I like being able to have different personas online versus in real life, because they're different spaces, so I get to be different people, right? But at the same time, right, I also like the idea of not having to like care about again, when I talk about people in groups that have a tendency to, you know, be explosively violent when you criticize them. Let's see. PJ says their online persona is separate from the IRL persona, and it's the former we are watching for. Yes. Kura says, I know a few. Oh, yeah, fair enough, right? Actually knows.
Because only a small thing could lead to so much. And I see so many VTubers, I'm genuinely convinced, posting themselves because they just want attention. They want easy likes, because it is easy likes, and they don't care if it translates into their content or it might put them at risk.
So this is one of the reasons. It's like, I do know there's been a couple people who've asked me if I'm ever going to do a face reveal. I think the context of this video makes it pretty clear that like I'm never going to do a face reveal, and it is again more of an OPSEC thing than anything else. But long story short, the thing is, like, again, that easy likes thing. Easy likes, again, like everything else, there's no free lunch. Everything that you do ends up having some kind of cost. There is some kind of cost, you know, there is something you pay for that easy meal, and that easy meal that you're paying for those likes, for posting your face online, is, especially if you've got a lot of people looking out for you, looking out at you, is there's a certain percentage of the population that's a little bit unhinged, and the more people that end up watching you, the higher the chance that someone who's a little unhinged might be watching you as well. And I have a prime example of that, again, as I said, set up for after this.
And we should be much more cautious about encouraging people to strip their anonymity. It's a very important thing these days. If you can preserve that, absolutely do. Absolutely do. So I don't really understand this clip. It seems like a psyop. It seems like a psyop to get people to reveal themselves. It's another great psyop, but yeah.
The thing about psyop is not the word I would use, because if this was a psyop, then these people would be being paid to have this dumb take. When in reality, if you just look at their content, some of these people, it's like, no, they are kind of this dumb, right? Like, I love Buff Pup to death, but it's like, she's not the brightest person in the shed, to be perfectly honest. Again, I have a fucking Buff Pup figurine. It's right next to my Atsuko Kagari figurine. And it's like, yeah, no, she's not exactly the brightest tool in the shed. So Kura says, so just realized how ignorant I am tonight. I just noticed Rev is wearing a swag hat and a blunt. How did I not notice until now? Fair enough, right? I didn't want to bring this up, but it's like, this is an actually funny series of like signs and signifiers, right?
Just want to talk about that quickly.
Hold on. What day did this come out? Nope, never mind. That would have been so funny if this was like a 420 thing. So there's that, and my counterpoint is this right here. Camila explains the stalker situation. Like, let's go back. Let's just look at the offending moment in question.
Look at her little, like...
Ah, you hear that? Hold on, I had this down. Let's rewind that.
Look at her little, like...
That's an interesting sound. I wonder what that could be.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Chat. What the... Hold on.
And so now she puts it on the waiting screen. Oh shit, I thought she was putting it on the waiting screen. No, I'm thinking of a different incident. So there is someone trying to come in. Yeah, I, you know what? I dare any of these fuckers to, you know, tell Kamimi to her face, that anonymity is not important. So get a little bit of larger context of this situation, right?
What? No heckin' way. I don't believe you.
Which, by the way, Camila is like just a sweet bean, to be perfectly honest. Oh, wait, I should probably move myself back to where I was originally. But Camila is just a sweetheart, to be perfectly honest, right? Just gotta put that out. I actually really enjoy her content.
Wait, there's one? Yeah, there's a Camila plushie. Wait, I could just show you guys the silhouette. Hold on. I just opened my pictures. I just opened my downloads folder and I was just welcomed with this. God fucking damn it. The pictures are so funny.
I have opinions about Bao. I mean, I've seen what Bao actually looks like in real life because she's one of these people that actually did a, like, real self-reveal. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. She is a cutie. But she really does hate men. And that is a fucking poor combination.
I feel like they very perfectly encompassed Bao's emotion. Lena's is so cute too. Oh my god, look at her little, like...
And then, yep.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Chat. What the... Hold on.
Yeah, you can see the chat has no fucking idea what's going on right now. They heard the sound, but they thought this might be a skit. And again, we gotta fast forward this because this was taking a while. Because it turns out this was a real situation. And she had a real reason to be concerned about this. See, again, right here. Now you got people actually figuring out what's going on. Like, Bob the janitor, right here, which, by the way, real funny way to spell janitor. Wait, hold up, what? Again, people actually starting to figure out, it's like, wait, hold on, something's actually happening. So yeah, I think, oh wait, yeah, this is like her response to this. It's like, yeah, again, either of those three retards that were talking about how anonymity is, you know, overrated and silly, tell that to Kamimi's face, right? Just fucking absolute, I fucking dare you to do that, see what happens. Here we go. Someone during the evil stream yesterday knocked on my window. It was more than a knock. And then went away, so I assumed it was nothing, but turns out it wasn't nothing because someone tried breaking into my home during my stream just now. Cops have already dealt with him. We are okay. W to the panic button on my desk. Thank God she has a panic button, right? We finished talking to the officer. Considering the person only interacted was when I was live, makes him believe it was a stalker. He also said the guy kept repeating, "She's my friend, it's okay." Yeah, fair enough. Parasocialism, right? So, real funny fucking thumbnail to pop up. So, yeah, again, I fucking dare any one of these three to tell Camila that anonymity doesn't mean shit, right? Fucking money mouth place down, right? Hold on, let me catch up with the chat now. Let's see. Kionello says, I want to go into writing books, and I could either use my real life name or a nom de plume. I mean, either or, right? There's nothing wrong with, like, having a real name as an author, but, like, if you want to keep your anonymity, especially if you're going to publish things online, nom de plume would probably be the option to go there. PJ says, oh man, the Camila kit? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Crimson Rain 14, the fact you mix up incidents is telling enough, right? Yeah. PJ says, this is why I hate how in England we don't have guns. Y'all used to, but then they got taken away, and that is never a good sign. Let's see. Kionella says, if you live in a state that has castle doctrine, that way you keep a gun at home. Yes, but also I do live in a state with castle doctrine, but I don't want to have to invoke castle doctrine, which is a good reason to keep anonymity, right? If I keep my anonymity, I don't have to invoke castle doctrine, presumably. Kura said, Bow and Shy Lily, I have several reservations about that. Yeah, I do, especially considering they seem to have been the bad guys in the Cinder drama. Snell says, oh wow, I hadn't seen this. It's too fucking real. Oh yeah, no, it goes on. Like, there's more. There's a Neurosoda has a 10-minute or 11-minute thing on this, which is just her talking about this. And then Mugen has, like, depending on how much you trust Mugen, because I stopped paying attention to him a while ago, because of his shoddy reporting, to be perfectly honest, talked about this as well. Smugalanas talked about this in, like, greater detail. So yeah, this was going around for a while. This was a year ago. But yeah, let's see. Snell says, at least in wrestling, the ref can make the X sign to show it's not kayfabe. Yes. Thought those sirens were IRL already. No. No, she muted that, actually. She put that stream on mute just in case something happened, her chat wouldn't have to hear it. I don't understand why she didn't end chat, but, you know, end stream, but, you know. Kura said, you need castle doctrine and stand your ground doctrine. I agree. Both are very, very, very necessary to each other. Yes. I mean, let's be fair. Castle doctrine and stand your ground doctrine are just two reflections of the same whole, right? You have the right to defend yourself and that which belongs to you. It's really that simple, right? So, I believe that this would more or less summarize my opinion on the VTuber anonymity thing. If you want to give up your anonymity and show your face online, that's entirely fine. I would still like to be able to, you know, talk about Islam and communism and not potentially get shot in the face. So, I think I'm going to keep my anonymity, right? But you know, that's that. Not everyone is going to be in the same position. I guarantee you, Community didn't exactly expect to get someone trying to break her door, or her garage door, in with a sledgehammer, right? Kionella says, I don't care about most really popular VTubers to random humor for me. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, again, everyone goes to different people for different reasons, right? I was never a big Shy Lily fan because she was always a little bit too goonery for me, to be perfectly honest. Not in her being a gooner, but like a little bit too much like trying to entice, people. I don't know. I never really found her all that funny. PJ says, in the UK, we have no stand your ground or castle principle anymore. If you so much as have a pen on you as a weapon, you can get arrested. Well, I mean, apparently, if you so much as, like... I mean, it depends, right? Depending on the skin tone of the assailant, you might get arrested for getting stabbed, it seems, right? just putting that out there, right? Like, help, I can't breathe. It's like, no, he's fine. Right? He only got stabbed with an 8-inch blade. That's a whole different can of worms, right? But at least for the anonymity episode, I think I've made my point. I don't think it's necessary to go into the full 10 minutes. I think just this alone should be enough of a example of a real person suffering the consequences of the loss of anonymity. And by the way, she wasn't exactly doxxed. The way she got found out was a fan gave her a gift with a tracker in it. Right? So it's not like he released her name or anything like that. And by the way, she had to move her house. She had to move, right? She had to leave her house and go find somewhere else to live because now a stalker actually found out where she is in her location. So again, there's real consequences to again forsaking your anonymity. So before you forsake your anonymity, actually consider the potential consequences. There's a reason why everyone demonizes doxing. So as far as the video that's being recorded right now, y'all have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.